One of the funniest narratives is that Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell somehow hate each other, and Kelsey Mitchell hates Indiana, and she wants to leave Indiana because occasionally, you know, she might go and post something cryptic that has nothing to do with basketball. And if you guys...
One of the strangest and funniest stories floating around right now is the idea that Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell secretly dislike each other. Somehow, this story has grown into a full-blown narrative where people believe Mitchell hates Indiana, wants to leave the Fever, and is desperate to get away from Clark. All of this supposedly gets proven every time Mitchell posts something vague or emotional on social media, even when the post has nothing to do with basketball. If you really stop and think about it, the whole thing sounds ridiculous. Yet, this rumor refuses to die. Throughout the season, fans have repeatedly pushed the idea that there is tension between these two players. According to this made-up storyline, Mitchell can't stand Clark, and Clark's presence has made life uncomfortable for veterans on the team. Every cryptic Instagram caption gets dissected, screenshotted, and used as evidence for a drama that mostly exists in people's imaginations. But when you actually listen to what Kelsey Mitchell has said publicly, especially during her interview on the Subaru podcast, the truth looks very different. During that conversation, Mitchell talked honestly about what happens when a player with massive influence joins a team. She explained that when someone with that level of attention and impact arrives, adjustments are unavoidable. Things change on the court, in the locker room, in the training room, and even behind the scenes. There are more cameras, more expectations, and more pressure on everyone involved. That kind of situation can easily create problems if egos get in the way. However, Mitchell made it clear that Caitlin Clark handled those changes the right way. She said one thing that stood out more than anything else: Clark was never bigger than the program. That statement matters. Those are not the words of someone who feels threatened, bitter, or pushed aside. That is the language of respect. Mitchell was praising Clark for understanding that basketball is still a team game, no matter how famous or talented one player may be. Mitchell explained that Clark didn't come in trying to take control or dominate everything. She didn't act like she was above the team. Instead, she focused on fitting in, learning how everyone played, and making sure the chemistry worked. Clark understood her role as a professional and embraced the idea that success comes from unity, not individual spotlight. That approach made a real difference. When a superstar rookie joins an established team, things often go wrong. Veterans can feel ignored. Playing styles can clash. Frustration builds when shots, minutes, or attention shift. We have seen it happen many times across sports. But in Indiana, those problems never took over. According to Mitchell, that's because Clark respected the team and the culture that was already there. Even more important, Mitchell talked about how Clark's style of play actually helped her. She said Clark's game complemented hers and also worked well with Aaliyah Boston. That's not just polite talk. It shows how the pieces fit together on the court. To understand this fully, it helps to look at how Mitchell's game changed. In 2023, Mitchell averaged over 17 points per game, but much of her scoring came from difficult situations. She relied heavily on isolation plays, tough pull-up shots, and creating space on her own. While effective at times, that style required constant effort and led to lower efficiency. When Clark joined the team, everything shifted. Clark's passing ability and court vision opened up the floor. Suddenly, Mitchell wasn't forced to create every shot from scratch. She started getting cleaner looks, easier opportunities, and better spacing. Instead of taking contested jumpers, she found herself catching and shooting. Instead of forcing drives into traffic, she cut to the basket for simple finishes. Mitchell herself has joked about the two voices in her head. One voice tells her to slow down, move the ball, and trust the system. The other urges her to dribble, take tough shots, and play hero basketball. In previous seasons, that second voice often won. In 2024, that changed. Mitchell began listening to the smarter voice more often. She passed more, relocated on offense, and took higher quality shots. This wasn't because Clark demanded it. It happened because playing alongside someone who makes the game easier naturally leads to better decisions. Winning basketball becomes obvious when the right play keeps working. This is exactly why the idea that these two players dislike each other makes no sense. Mitchell is describing a teammate who improved her efficiency, helped her conserve energy, and made the entire offense smoother. Clark didn't take anything away from her. She added value. She helped Indiana reach the playoffs for the first time in years. Players do not resent teammates who help them win. During the playoffs, the Fever even turned their chemistry into a joke. They talked about the power of friendship and leaned into the idea that they were winning through trust and unity. It was funny, but it wasn't fake. You could see it on the court. In Game 2 against the Las Vegas Aces, Indiana was down by 10 points. Aaliyah Boston was on the bench. The lineup on the floor wasn't filled with stars. Yet that group fought relentlessly and dragged the defending champions into overtime. They refused to give up, played for each other, and showed real belief. When Indiana won games, the entire team celebrated together. They ran to each other, laughed, hugged, and shared the moment. That kind of connection can't be staged. You don't fake that over an entire season, especially not under pressure. This is where reality and speculation need to be separated. Yes, it's possible that Kelsey Mitchell could leave Indiana in free agency. That's part of professional sports. Players explore new opportunities. They consider money, location, family, and career goals. Wanting something different does not mean there's drama behind the scenes. If Mitchell does decide to move on, it won't be because she's running from Caitlin Clark. It won't be because of locker room tension or personal dislike. It would simply be a business and life decision, which is completely normal. The idea that two competitive, professional athletes can't coexist just because one is a superstar says more about fan culture than it does about the players themselves. When you actually listen to what Mitchell says and watch how the team plays, the truth is clear. There is no hidden feud here. There is respect, chemistry, and a shared goal to win. Everything else is noise. No matter how people feel about Stephanie White as a coach, it is fair to say she did an excellent job this season. She stepped into a difficult situation, managed a roster under pressure, and helped stabilize a team that had struggled for years. Still, it is also reasonable to admit that some questions remain. One of the biggest questions going forward is whether her system truly fits Caitlin Clark's game. That is not something we can answer yet, and pretending otherwise would be dishonest. The truth is simple. We never saw Caitlin Clark healthy under Stephanie White, not even for a short stretch. By the time White took over, Clark was already dealing with an ankle injury that eventually shut her down for the rest of the season. Without a full sample of games, it is impossible to judge how their partnership would look at full strength. Because of that, the Fever need time, not panic. Clark is only 23 years old. There is no rush to make life-changing decisions based on incomplete information. If, after a full healthy season, it becomes clear that White's system does not fully unlock Clark's abilities, then Indiana will have a real decision to consider. That decision does not need to happen now. It should be made with patience, context, and real evidence. Until then, everything else is just noise. Yet despite logic, evidence, and direct quotes from the players involved, a strange narrative keeps coming back. Fans continue to push the idea that Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell dislike each other. No matter how many times this claim is disproven, it refuses to disappear. That raises an important question. Why are people so committed to creating drama where none exists? Part of the answer lies in modern sports culture. Drama gets attention. Conflict brings clicks. A story about teammates respecting each other and growing together is not as exciting as one filled with tension, jealousy, and hidden resentment. Algorithms reward controversy, not stability. As a result, boring truth often loses to entertaining fiction. Another reason is projection. Fans develop strong opinions about how a team should be built. They decide who deserves more shots, who should lead the offense, and who should be featured. When reality does not match those expectations, some fans create explanations that fit their beliefs. Instead of accepting that basketball is complex, they imagine locker room issues or personal dislike. And finally, some people simply enjoy chaos. A healthy team environment does not spark debate the way a fake feud does. Conflict feels more dramatic, even when it has no foundation. Because of that, the same false story keeps circulating, and it forces the same correction to be made over and over again. It can feel exhausting to repeat the same explanation, but if even one person lets go of the myth after hearing the truth, the effort is worth it. The facts are not complicated. Kelsey Mitchell has openly praised Caitlin Clark on multiple occasions. She has spoken about Clark's humility, her team-first mindset, and her willingness to fit into the group rather than dominate it. Mitchell has said clearly that Clark's style of play makes her more effective. That is not something a resentful teammate says. That is respect. On the court, their connection was obvious. Their movement complemented each other. Their spacing improved the offense. Their reactions after wins showed genuine joy, not forced smiles. Those moments cannot be staged for an entire season. Chemistry shows itself naturally, especially under pressure. Could Mitchell still leave Indiana in free agency? Absolutely. She has earned that right. Exploring options is part of being a professional athlete. Wanting a new role, a different city, or better financial security does not mean there is conflict behind the scenes. Those decisions are often about timing, opportunity, and personal goals, not grudges. If Mitchell does move on, it will not be because she is trying to escape Caitlin Clark. That idea simply does not match the evidence. Now, let's return to the coaching question because that is the real discussion worth having. Stephanie White's offense values ball movement, shared responsibility, and multiple creators. Caitlin Clark's greatest strength is her ability to control the game with the ball, stretch defenses, and create opportunities through individual brilliance. Those two ideas are not opposites, but blending them correctly takes time. Some systems require stars to adjust more than others. Some allow freedom while maintaining structure. Without seeing Clark healthy in this environment, it is unfair to judge whether the balance works. That evaluation needs a full season, not speculation based on absence. If changes are needed later, that conversation should stay focused on basketball strategy. It should be about spacing, usage, pace, and decision-making. It should never be twisted into a story about personal conflict between teammates who have shown nothing but professionalism. When you step back and look at what we actually know, the picture becomes clear. Mitchell respects Clark. Clark respects the team. Their games made each other stronger. Indiana returned to playoff relevance after years of disappointment. A veteran scorer adjusted her habits. A generational rookie adapted her approach. The team competed with confidence again. That is the real story. Everything else is fan-created fiction built to satisfy a hunger for drama. And honestly, the real narrative is far more interesting. It shows growth, adaptation, and trust. It shows how two players with different strengths learn to elevate each other. In a league where continuity is rare and chemistry is fragile, that matters. So the next time someone insists that Mitchell hates Clark, ask for proof. Ask for a quote. Ask for an action. Ask for a moment that actually supports the claim. There isn't one. What you will find instead is praise, cooperation, and shared success. The Indiana Fever do have real questions ahead. How will the offense look with a healthy Clark? Does White's system need adjustments? Will Mitchell return or explore new opportunities? Can the roster take the next step toward championship contention? These are meaningful topics that deserve thoughtful discussion. But whether Mitchell and Clark dislike each other is not one of them. That question was already answered in 2024 through words, actions, and results. The only thing keeping the rumor alive is refusal to accept the truth. There is no feud to uncover, no secret tension to expose. Just two elite professionals who figured out how to win together. And that is something worth appreciating, not tearing apart.